What's good, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation? It's your boy Jay Barry from whatsupplayStation.com, here to give you guys greatness once again, which is the PlayStation Nation, which is the PlayStation 4. And here, guys, this is my Star Ocean 5 video review. I know I said I was going to do this review for a very long time, and here it pretty much is. So I'm going to be breaking down Star Ocean 5 in 5 different sectors as far as graphics, story, gameplay, fun factor, and my verdict. Just a heads up warning that this video does contain spoilers, so if you guys didn't get too far in Star Oceans or didn't beat the game yet, I do recommend you probably just listen instead of watching the video, because this is going to contain spoilers, because right here I'm doing the final boss fight, showing off that, and you're going to see a little bit of the ending, none of the individual endings, but just the main ending. Alright, so let's get right into it, because the first thing we're going to talk about is graphics. Star Ocean 5, guys, beautiful looking game. I can't say that enough, because when I first popped in this game, I was just like, wow, this game looks really amazing. Some of the character models look a little weird, like Miki at first. You know, you look at her, she just looks like a creepy character, but you know, you get used to it, and it looks really well for a JRPG game. Not to say that JRPG games doesn't look good, but the quality of the game is very top notch. Where I know a lot of people give that bad stigma that JRPGs is low budget and all that stuff, but this game definitely not low budget when it comes to the graphical fidelity, the detail within the environments and all that stuff. The character models do look good. Like I said, some of them look kind of weird at first, like Miki, she did look weird, but you grow to really like them. This game, just walking around the world, there's times where I would just stop and just pan, you know, my view, just to look at the environment and take a whole bunch of pictures using the share button on the PS4. That's how beautiful the game looked, and I was just like, wow, let's look at the sunset while you're walking down to go into Fiore's hometown. I forgot the name of the hometown, but her hometown, when you walk in there the first time and you see the sunset, the sun is going down and all that stuff. There's little beautiful vistas of the game. Also, the game does keep up well, because Star Oceans is known to have a lot of characters within your party, and all those characters are moving around freely, doing their own special attacks, like magical attacks and, you know, special slashes. Here you seeing one of the reverse rushes from Fidel, and all of that, it still looks amazing. You know, the graphics still keep up, nothing really drops, you know, no fidelity really drops in the game. You know, it just looks really well. You see the particle effects after each attack. The game is really done very well, very top notch. So big shout out to Square and Tri-Ace for the graphical fidelity with this game. I can't say it enough that this game is probably the best JRPG out right now as far as graphics. You know what I mean? The game just looks amazing. But yeah, so those are the graphics. I know a lot of people don't really care about graphics, but honestly, the graphics look amazing in this game. Can't say it enough. Secondly, let's talk about the story. The story of Star Ocean 5. I'm going to be very general with this, because I don't really want to, you know, spoil the story too much. You know, I still want to leave a little bit of mystery for those that are playing the game, because there are certain, you know, turning moments within the story of this game. But I'm going to be very general when I speak about the story, but you're still going to understand what I'm talking about. So Star Ocean 5, I think the story to me was a kind of a letdown. It's not to say that it was a bad story, but I did think that the story had a lot of potential within the game, but it didn't really meet those expectations as far as where this game can really go, or where I thought the game was going to go with the Star Ocean 5. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have this beautiful world within the game, but you're only located really in one sector. in this vast world that they talk about, that they allude to, you know, other solar systems, other planets. They allude to that so much where they kind of tease you with it, especially like later in the game. You get to the one of the starships, and from there it hints that you're probably going to be traveling to all these areas. You know, they tease about all of other systems and where they came from, like Emerson and Anna, but they never really went anywhere outside of the Faithlessness system, where Fidel is from, the planet Fidel is from, which is an undeveloped planet. Nothing really too much as far as technologically advanced things that's going on, like how Emerson and Anne is from. And it's kind of disappointing because it alludes to it so much when you do meet up with Kronos, the Kronos people, and nothing really happens from it because you only really travel to 2 areas within the game. And I do feel like within the story there wasn't really any significance as far as real importance of you playing as the main character Fidel. You know what I mean? I didn't really feel that drive where Fidel's story made sense to actually really, you know, keep up with Emerson and Anne as far as them trying to stop the rebellion with Kronos, you know, and their leader, which you see I'm fighting right now, General Alma. So, well, Fidel, it kind of disappointed me because one thing in JRPGs I like the lead up to certain things. Like Fidel, he was just a regular old boy, you know, trying to be like his father kind of, but not really. But he definitely wants his father respect. And then certain things happen, but with those things happening, you still didn't really feel the urge that he was really important within this story. You know what I mean? He was just like a third wheel type character. That's how I felt within the story. He's just along for the ride, you know, helping out Emerson and Anne. He wasn't the real main contributor or main focus of the story. You know what I mean? You do understand Miki's basically following Fidel. Later on, you're gonna understand why Victor is following you. You know what I mean? Because he's definitely like the progeny of Fidel's father. You know, he was the captain, and he's just holding up a promise, you know, to protect Fidel and, you know, protect their planet. With Fiore, she has a nice little drive, but she's not the main character. Her drive is basically just wanting to learn as much as he can when it comes to symbiology and other, you know, signs and stuff like that, with basically the magic in the game. But with Fidel, it was kind of really disappointing because I didn't really feel that urge, that drive, that the main character really had any importance within the game. And it was a real letdown. It was really let down. I was kind of shocked that really happened. That, you know, here you had this backstory for a character, but it really didn't go anywhere as far as how the game panned out, how it ended. You know, even if you see the ending, you really see any real importance of Fidel like that within the game. But overall, it does have some fun aspects within it, and it did keep me up to play the game. But honestly, the story wasn't the strongest driving point to continue playing this game. So the story, it was kind of meh, wasn't really too strong, and that was one of the hugest disappointments. And honestly, just staying in one planet in a whole bunch of different areas in that planet was really disappointing because they alluded to a lot more. Like you will be traveling to a lot more planets and stuff like that, but that never really happened. It's always something that happens. Something always happens that makes you it's kind of like they're forcing you back to that one planet. I know, stay there. The game is like, stay there. You know, we're gonna allude to a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of star systems, but we want you to stay there. And you kind of understand it, but I felt like it didn't really drive home. It wasn't really that good, the reasonings for them to have you staying in one planet like that. So yeah, I know that's a real generalistic approach to explain the story, but I really don't want to spoil the story too much because there's a lot of turning points within the story. But also, you know, there's a female that you meet, Relia. She's a real important part of the story, because Kronos tried to use her as like a weapon, and that's one of the driving points as far as why Fidel is really fighting. But the relationship to me with Fidel and Relia wasn't too strong, where I felt like Fidel really had to go out his way to do this. There's one point where it does kind of meet up like that, where you figure out why Fidel is doing it, but I felt like that turning point wasn't too strong enough for somebody just to do it like that, you know, just to help out this stranger like that. With Emerson and Anne, yeah, I understand their point of view from helping out, you know, Relia and her sister, but Fidel, I get it, but it wasn't too strong. Sorry for being so vague, guys. I'm really sorry, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I know a lot of people's playing it. I just don't want to spoil it. So let's move on to the gameplay. The gameplay starts out very slow. This is probably one of the slowest Star Oceans I've played. You know, from playing on until the end of time. I didn't play last Hope, the international version, but this game was definitely slower as far as the move sets. You know, the things that you learn, just combos in general. You know, when you get the hits. You know, with Star Oceans 3, you can get combos out the wazoo. You know, you get easily 500. You know, when you level up your moves and all that stuff. With Fate Leonhard, but Leongard, I mean. But with Fidel and the other guys here in your party, it felt like a very slow burn to learn their moves a little bit. But honestly, when you get to learning their moves and when you get to understanding the game, it does pick up a little bit, where it does become a lot more fun. And one thing I really liked about the game, with the gameplay, the ease of swapping out your characters and having their roles do what they actually do. You know what I mean? That's one thing that Star Ocean was key for. You know what I mean? Where the actual gambits, the roles that they have, they do what they do. You know, if you're an attacker, that person's going to attack. If you're a defender and a healer, that person will do that, and you can count on them for doing that. There's many times where, like Miki and Fiore, those are my magic users and my healers. I never once really had to go to them to do anything manually. Everything was just work in sync and how I wanted it to be. So the AI was really good in this game. Definitely really good in this game. As far as the difficulty within the game, this game is not really that difficult. You do have certain bosses that's pretty hard. There was probably, like, I'll say 3 bosses within the game that I felt that was really difficult, and I really had to grind up, you know, to beat these guys. But most of the part is just, you can really sometimes cheese it. You know, that's the typical Star Ocean game where you have your ranged character. You can stay back with your ranged character and just constantly spam their moves, like you see I'm doing right here with Emerson. And it's probably the slowest way to beat a boss, because it's not really doing too much as far as taking off their HP, because the ranged characters are not that the strongest when it comes to their special moves. But it's the most effective way to beat a difficult boss, you know, at times. So yeah, the gameplay, it's fun. Very slow start, but it's really fun. It's a really fun gameplay. Everything really works in sync with the game. Nothing really too much where you're getting upset with AI partners, like, oh, come on, you're not doing your job. That didn't really happen to me for the 70 hours that I put into this game. And the boss fights within the game, you know, the enemy variety wasn't too much. You know, you got a base variety of enemies, and then they just switch it up, like color and as far as, you know, attacks that they do. But honestly, I didn't really have an issue with the variety of enemies. I thought they mixed it up pretty good within the areas that you go throughout the game. So yeah, the gameplay is really solid within this game. I don't think anybody's going to be too frustrated with AI and stuff like that with this game. And the boss fights, some of the boss fights is really fun. Some of them is really annoying, you know, because the HP is just godlike with these guys. It takes so long to take them down, but overall, it's a solid game when it comes to gameplay. That's one thing that's really gonna stick you to stay playing the game, because It's not like the gameplay has issues. Might not be the strongest, but it really blends well with the gameplay. The gameplay it's solid with the game. So yeah, gameplay really good. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, wasn't frustrated at all when it came to other characters. Fun factor. Fun factor is really huge when you play a game, in my opinion. And honestly, this game was pretty fun to play for me. Like I said, the story, not the strongest standpoint within the game, but what really was strong within the game is the variety of side quests you can do within this game. This game has a lot of side quests. If you like to do side quests, and if you're you know, like me, where you have to get certain side quests done, and some days you just do purely side quests, this game is a game for you. This game has a lot of side quests where you're going to have you traveling a lot, back and forth. You're going to be doing a lot of back and forths, and some of the enemies that you fight for the side quests is pretty fun. You know what I mean? There was 2 dragons that I fought that was really fun, but I did so many side quests where I was like level 90, where my whole team was just so strong. We pretty much demolished them, but it was still a fun battle that I had with them. And also, one thing that really helped out with the game kind of scales when it comes to enemies. So if you're like level 90 or level 100, 99, whatever it is, the enemies will still scale. It will become easier, but you can't really, like, you know, look down upon the enemies. Like, you know, you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna walk over these little side enemies, because they will still hurt you a lot and stuff like that. So I really do like that aspect within the game, that the enemies do kind of scale, where it doesn't make it too easy at times. It's still an easy game, but it's not like overly excessively easy, which makes it fun. You know what I mean? I do think that the boss fights within the game are fun, but there's a lot of easy boss fights in this game, especially if you're doing the side quests. You're gonna have a easy time playing the game. If you're doing a lot of the side quests, you're gonna have an easy time playing the game. And honestly, the side quest is very addictive, so that's why I gave the fun factor really highly praise with the game, because I found myself like 3 days of doing side quests, not even touching the main missions, the main stories of the game, because I felt like that was just so much fun doing that, getting these items so I can get my special abilities, so I can get my specialities, so I can get my roles, certain moves that I need to get. It's really important to do them, and it's really fun to do them. I don't think it was like a chore to do any side quest. I never felt like it was a chore to do any side quests. I felt like I was having a lot of fun doing the side quests. So yeah, really fun side quests, really fun game to play, in my opinion. The story, like I said, not the best part, but the side quests and the gameplay is the best part of this game. So yeah, fun factor. I do think if you enjoy, you know, these types of JRPGs, action JRPGs, you will have fun playing the game. It is a slow start, but once you get into it, once you get the flow of it, it's definitely going to pick up, and you're definitely going to have a lot more fun playing the game. So my final verdict with Star Ocean 5 is, I felt like this game it's an average JRPG game, okay? And the reason why, yes, I had fun playing it. I thought the gameplay was fun, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of a JRPG, you really play it for the story. You know, you want a good story experience, and I felt like with Star Ocean 5, there wasn't really a good story experience. They definitely dropped the ball with a lot of aspects with the game. Had a lot of potential, but I felt like the game didn't really hit that mark that they really wanted to hit, you know, or you know, portray within the game. It definitely set you back, you know, playing the same area over and over and over again, when they allude to this vast open world with all these solar systems and all that stuff. It definitely was disappointing, and I couldn't forget about that every time I was playing the game. Yes, I had fun doing the side missions. I had fun doing boss fights. I thought the game looked graphically well, but one of the main things I play a JRPG or any RPG game for is the story. If the story is not on point, it's definitely a couple of negatives that I gotta give the game. So overall, my overall score for Star Ocean 5 is a 6.8 out of 10. So I felt like the game is a really good game. If you are a Star Ocean fan, if you're a JRPG fan, I think it's a game that you should play. Give it a try. For $60, I don't know. You know, if you should probably wait for like a sale or something like that. But it's a game that you definitely don't want to miss if you're a fan of these type of games, action RPGs, or just JRPGs in general, or just a Star Ocean fan. It's definitely a game that you shouldn't miss. But for the $60, I don't think you should go out your way to get this game for $60. Fun game, great looking game. A lot of the gameplay is really good, but the story really fell short with me. So overall, I'm giving the game a 6.8 out of 10. So yeah, guys, there you have it. That is my Star Ocean 5 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry for being so vague with the story, but even though the story was very disappointing, it might not be for you. So I don't really want to spoil the story for anybody, but there was a lot of potential within the story, but it definitely didn't hit the mark for me personally, you know. So yeah, there you have it. Star Ocean 5, 6.8. It's your boy Jay Bari, and I'm gone. Please enjoy the rest of the gameplay. The ending is there at the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy that, and I'm gone. Deuces.
We did.
His strength is dwindling. His wave patterns are getting astonishingly small.
Luna! Chris! Kronos is destined to crumble! Should I perish here?
Brawn alone can't win all wars.
Likewise, my fascist assailants. I'll be observing your lot from on high. Repudiation to you. Honor to Kronos!
Adele, thanks a lot. I didn't back down at all. I did all I could. Me and Relia.
Yeah. You prevailed.
Promise you will. Look after my baby sister.
I certainly do. Relia deserves a good life. A caring, maybe mentoring dad. Like Beryl was when I was young.
Relia, I'm so sorry. What's more, I should thank you. My wish was answered due to your... grow up and be the joyous girl I couldn't. Variant, no. Don't be so sad. Since I'll be with you in your heart. Don't be so sad. Since I'll be with you in your heart.
Captain's log. Space date, November 7th, 5:37. Our mission in the Fate Creed system has concluded. With the death of its leader, General Alma, the rebellion collapsed in upon itself. As the coup d'etat ended in abject failure, the Kronos government was able to regain its authority. Days later, President Mutal declared that Kronos would join the Pan-Galactic Federation, thus swelling our ranks and leaving one fewer enemy. I have a feeling, however, that there will be repercussions from this incident that last for quite some time. In my opinion, it is now abundantly clear that the Federation is at a major crossroads. It is only a matter of time, I assume, before we must re-evaluate the form we wish the Federation to henceforth take. Kronos was officially inducted into the Pan-Galactic Federation, and while the Kronos incident that engendered the Alliance was certainly noteworthy, it was not the only seminal event of Space Date 537. The year also became known for various progressive reforms, which would serve as defining points of Federation policy for years to come. Fate Creed's fate regarding the Federation was officially decided today. Because the planet is not sufficiently civilized, it will not be recognized as a legitimate member of the Federation. As we influenced the planet to a great extent, though, it was designated a protectorate. I plan to ask Command to appoint Victor the Inspector General of Fate Creed. I cannot imagine there is anyone else in the galaxy better suited to the job than him. Now that I mention one Fate Creed, I should probably record what happened to the rest. Everyone involved in the incident immigrated to Earth. After all they'd experienced of the outside world, we couldn't simply let them return to an underdeveloped planet. Besides, they unanimously decided to come of their own accord, which is what I was hoping for anyway.